See, when the elite talk about the fountain of youth, they can't tell us it's adrenochrome. And then they have to start explaining what adrenochrome is. And after after they explain that to us, and we're like, okay. And then somebody says, well, where do you get it from? They can't go down that road, right? I mean, we'll put the elite up on poles, man. We will, when we find out what the elite are doing to children and have done throughout history and are doing today on a market scale, on a, what's the word I'm looking for? A trade. They have a trade in this. That's why the Clintons love Haiti, because they love black children and they love Native American children. I just heard that today. They specifically target black children and Native American children because there's something about their ability to produce adrenaline or something. I don't know. But they can't tell us what the real fountain of youth is, so they have to make up something like it's a little thing, bubbly, it's a spring or something. So we all go scurrying all over the earth looking for this thing, and it's like, it's fun, it's funny for them, it's entertainment for them, they laugh, and plus they derive some benefit from it because they send people while they're out there looking for the fountain of youth, they're also looking for gold, they're looking for slaves, and they're looking for whatever, So it's the same thing. They exsanguinate society. They pull up all the resources of society up into the institutions, right? And how do they do it? They do it by appealing to ego and to status and to the material interests of the people that get their paychecks and the property and the affiliation with this building and that institution or this institution, that institution, okay? So that's why Jesus' kingdom is a spiritual. It has nothing to do with the institutional nonsense. The Christian this and the Christian that and that. I'm not saying Christians are bad. Christians are as good as Hindus. Hindus are as good as Christians. I'm not saying Christians are bad people. I'm saying because every religion institutionalized, every human interest. Let me put it that way. Every human interest, once it becomes institutionalized, right? That human interest becomes a threat to other humans, right? I don't care if it's like, toy plane, model plane flying club or something. I mean, once it becomes institutionalized, now you got a board, you got people on the board, you got egos, you got infight, you got the potential for infighting, you got the potential for domination and manipulation and the collection of dues and the management of a toy aircraft club is obviously kind of a trivial and silly example, but I'm taking it to the extreme, right? I mean, but if you understand that a toy aircraft club with the $5,000 bank account, right, is a threat because of like I said, the egos and everything. Think about an institution that has, $600,000 or maybe 600 million or maybe 6 billion or 600 billion, right? I mean, the bigger the numbers get, the bigger the threat that institution poses to other humans. Because an institution will fight tooth and nail for its own interests. And an institution is an inanimate, non-sentient entity. Inanimate, insentient entities don't care about animate, sentient entities. Inanimate, non-sentient entities don't have consciences, right? And the people that are employed, see how the hierarchy works? The non-sentient, inanimate entity is hierarchical. I can't say this word. In terms of the hierarchy, I'll put it that way. In terms of the hierarchy, is above the people that work for it, right? So you could see it's like a gargoyle that kind of hovers over everybody. And it manipulates the people that it works for as much as we can say that it has a will, which it does, okay, to a certain degree, in a certain sense, it definitely has a will, okay? It manipulates the people that are under it with the threat of the loss of status and money and standing, etc., so on. And then you add to that fact that above the institution, there are other see, this institution is under other institutions. Like all the churches, somehow or another, I don't know how, supposedly, God only knows, I don't know. I just know what I hear. But supposedly they fall under the World Council of Churches. You know, I mean, if you're a denominational church, then definitely there's hierarchy above you, right? So it's in all of this. It's in all of these levels, right? Because there's men and there's women at all of these levels. That's where the darkness comes in, right? And eventually, if there's enough darkness and the light is down here at the level of the people, right? This is where Jesus came to inhabit. He inhabited, and this is where the angel of the Lord always came down, to inhabit the level of the light. That's where the people are, not up here in the darkness of the institution. I mean, just think about what you think of when you think of an institution. You think of darkness, right? If I say the word institution, you think, you might immediately start thinking of like some big, empty, cold, dark building that looks really impressive and that would really be a giant ego tickler for you if you found yourself in charge of it. But nevertheless, it's kind of like big and imposing and monolithic and dark and kind of like threatening and kind of like like a movie scene, where the camera rolls up on some institution and like, whoa, like Darth Vader. Maybe it's like an insane asylum or something. It's like, or it has a big sign in the front like, we help all the children. And you're like, yeah, I bet you do. If you have any concept of what actually happens in the world, when you see a big sign in front of a big giant institution that says, we love the children, you're like, oh, okay, whatever you say, but somebody's got to pay for this building. I don't know how you ever have time to help the children by the time you get done paying for all of this, right? And all the salaries and all the benefit packages and I guess you eventually help some children. I would assume you do, but they got to be way down the line in terms of priority, right? Because that building has to get paid for before any child ever gets helped. Those salaries have to be paid before the children get helped, right? So my personal theory is that among the charities, the children's charities are the most corrupt. That's where all the human trafficking is taking place. And the reason I think that is because somebody told me one time that a hospital has fundraisers all year long and they struggle to raise the money they need to fund the hospital. But a children's hospital, they get everything they need for the entire year in one day. That's why I say, my opinion is that the children's charities are the most corrupt because they're the easiest ones to attract money to. They're the easiest ones to attract money to. And wherever the big, giant, stinking, rotting, fly-covered piles of money are, that's where the darkness is. That's where the evil people are. Evil people just gravitate. They just kind of like slowly, like, it's like a magnet, just slowly, they're kind of like, and they just kind of like slowly gravitate over the big piles of money, So what it really means to me to be a follower of Christ is to embody the Spirit of Christ. I affiliate with a church. I go to church. I was raised that way. I think, like I said, I don't look at like church is like evil. No, I mean, it's as good as everything else. It's as bad as everything else. It really does. That's not the point. A lot of people say, well, yeah, churches are corrupt, therefore I'm not going to have anything to do with it. Well, it's like, well, that's just like stupid. And if you're not going to have anything to do with something that's not perfect, then you're not going to have anything to do with anything. I mean, why don't you just walk out your front door and go live in the woods? I mean, It's like, no, it doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, they're as good and as bad as everything else. But the point of following Christ is to embody the Spirit of Christ, right? And for me, that Spirit is obviously embodied in his, courage, his confrontation of leadership, but most poignantly with respect to the topic of this video is the fact that whenever he did a good deed, he told the people, don't you tell anybody, right? Don't brand me. Don't institutionalize me. Just do what I do, Just do what I do. And I really think, my personal opinion is all this branding and all of this institutionalizing of everything, I think it hurts the work of God. I think it's a curse on the face of the earth. I think it's a curse in a church when all the charity that takes place has to take place underneath the title of some little organization or some little committee or some little 501c3, or, like I said, Jesus could have started a 501c3. He could have started a 501c3 and funded it with $800 quadrillion, and it would still be funded to this day. But that's not the way you fix the world with a 501c3 or a titled charity with a mission statement and a board of directors. That's not how you fix the world, for crying out loud. How stupid is that? It's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I can't believe that anybody out there wouldn't agree with that. That's like stupid. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. No, you fix the world by embodying the Spirit of Christ, by being selfless and helping people and not demanding that you receive recognition. Oh my gosh. I mean, what else did Jesus say about that? You want recognition? Okay, fine. But that's your reward. That's it. You're done. No more reward for you. Like the Pharisees praying on the corner. Okay, Jesus didn't say they were evil for doing that. He said they have received their reward in full. That's it. It's like you get a paycheck, you go spend all your money. Okay, fine. You want to do that? You want to live your life that way? Okay, fine. But that's your reward for your paycheck. Or you could get your paycheck and save some and save some and save some. And now you got a reward that lasts forever, right? Just keep it on the down low. Don't go around, just don't go throwing it around all the time. You throw it around and whatever you get out of throwing it around, that's it. That's all you get. But you keep it in, like Jesus said. I mean, that's another embodiment of the Spirit of Christ. Is the low key, quiet, secret. Maybe that's taking it too far, but a little bit secret goodness, So anyway, thank you for watching all this. I'm sorry it was so long, but that's what I was thinking about the bathroom today. And it was like, it just kind of all came full circle with the branding and the institutionalizing and the Christian thing and the pre-incarnate Christ. It's like, it's not the pre-incarnate Christ, you dingbat. It's God coming to earth as man whenever he wants, however he wants, under whatever title he wants, And it also matches what Jesus said, before Abraham was, I am, right? He's always been there. But he was only called Jesus that one time, right? Not all the times. Melchizedek wasn't pre-incarnate Christ. Melchizedek was Melchizedek. Melchizedek was God. Jesus was God. They were both God. Now, who's going to say that the Hindu woman loving her child isn't following God under a different name? That's where the institutional Christians go crazy. Like, oh no, they're not Christians. It's like, well, what's so great about Christianity? The way you define it, right? I mean, seriously, you're a train wreck. These institutional Christians, so many of them, just like everybody else, no more, no less than anybody else. But I mean, they're just like everybody else, right? So anyway, if you can decipher anything good out of that, I appreciate it. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a mess. But that's what it means to me to be a follower of Christ. God bless you.